fighting might just be the single most functional form of fitness you could possibly pursue. It's a concept that, well, it challenges how most of us think about working out, about staying in shape.
It definitely flips the script on conventional fitness, yeah. When you hear this perspective, it kind of forces you to ask, functional for what exactly? Is it functional for, daily tasks? Or
Or
functional for something, well, far more primal, something closer to survival maybe, real-world resilience?
Exactly. And the idea is framed around this really sharp contrast. Think about most sports. Like, you probably won't ever need your ability to hit a perfect jump shot or, I don't know, nail a penalty kick in a true life or death situation. Those skills are incredible, don't get me wrong, but they're designed for the rules and the environment of a specific game.
Right, but the skills developed in fighting,
Hmm.
the ability to move effectively under duress, to protect yourself, maybe protect others, to handle actual physical pressure. Those are skills that could become, well, critically relevant if life throws something genuinely dangerous at you. So this deep dive really explores why this kind of preparation is argued to go beyond just simple physical fitness. It touches on something deeper.
Okay, so let's unpack this perspective. A core part of the argument is about what functional really means here, functional fitness with a genuine, like, real-world purpose.
Right. The point being made is that most athletic training is purpose-built for a very specific activity.
Hmm.
You train to be a better runner, a better swimmer, a better basketball player. You're optimizing performance within a defined system, within rules.
It's almost like practicing a highly complex instrument, isn't it? There's this analogy used, practicing the violin. It takes immense discipline, intricate coordination, perfect timing, incredible finesse. You develop extraordinary skills, sure, but they are deeply specific to creating music in a particular way. Beautiful, demanding, yeah, but not really something you'd pull out in a physical emergency.
And the counter-analogy offered for fighting is practicing something like CPR. It's often messy, right? Maybe not aesthetically pleasing, requires raw, practical effort. There's no finesse required to look good, only the functional application of force and motion. It's about getting the job done. But when someone collapses in front of you, that messy, primal skill is the one that matters, the one that can actually save a life. So this viewpoint argues that fighting training is like practicing CPR for general physical threats. It's training to act effectively, powerfully, decisively in unpredictable, chaotic situations, not within the neat confines of a game.
That contrast really does highlight the difference in intended application. And it leads directly to the argument about the unique real-world stakes involved in fighting compared to most sports.
Absolutely. However skilled you are on a court or a field, those skills, they don't directly translate to protecting yourself or your loved ones in a violent encounter. It's just a different context. Your ability to dunk a basketball won't help you if someone tries to harm your family. A perfect spiral pass won't deter an attacker.
No, obviously not. But skills like striking with intent, blocking incoming force, escaping a physical restraint, or maybe controlling a dangerous situation, those are directly applicable, potentially life-saving actions.
And the training for these actions, the argument goes, tapped into and trains a very deep fundamental survival instinct. When you drill these movements, practicing defenses against grabs, learning to generate power in a strike, understand distance and timing in simulated conflict, you are actively training your body and mind not to freeze when that instinct is triggered. You're training it to act. You are literally drilling actions that might be necessary for survival, conditioning your nervous system to respond under that kind of pressure.
Yeah, that's a profoundly different kind of conditioning than just running laps or lifting weights. And it seems intrinsically linked to the unique kind of confidence this perspective says fighting builds. It's not just about looking strong or feeling physically capable in a controlled gym environment.
Right, exactly. This perspective posits that fighting builds a distinct kind of confidence, one that is genuinely earned through navigating physical adversity and pressure. It's not the confidence you might gain from hitting a new personal record in the weight room or achieving a faster race time, which, can sometimes feel tied to external metrics or validation. Numbers on a bar, time on a clock.
It's described more as an internal certainty, like the knowledge that, okay, I've faced simulated pressure. I know I can absorb a shock and keep going. I know I can apply force effectively if I absolutely have to. I know I won't just crumble under duress.
And that internal knowledge, that earned confidence, subtly but powerfully changes you. It affects your posture, maybe your gaze, your overall presence. It's not about aggression, not at all. It's more about rootedness, self-possession, knowing you can handle yourself.
There's a really vivid thought experiment posed within this idea. Picture yourself walking through a dark, maybe sketchy parking garage late at night. If you felt threatened, who would you honestly feel safer being in that moment? the person who just finished their best ever 5-mile run,
Mm.
or the person who spent months drilling defenses, understanding ranges, practicing getting out of bad physical situations.
It really makes you pause, doesn't it?
Mm.
Both individuals might be incredibly fit, yeah. But one has trained skills directly applicable to the specific, unpredictable physical challenges that scenario might present. That earned confidence, it changes your demeanor in a way that purely athletic fitness might not. It's a quiet strength. Comes from knowing you've tested yourself under realistic pressure.
Which brings us to the idea of fighting as a fundamental feedback loop, a feedback loop of reality.
Yeah, this is a crucial part of the argument. In a realistic physical confrontation, or even in structured training like sparring or hard drilling, you simply cannot fake essential attributes. Your coordination, your timing, your ability to handle discomfort and keep thinking, your grit, they get tested in a raw, undeniable way.
And the feedback is immediate, often uncomfortable, and brutally honest.
Yeah.
You get tagged because your timing is off, you feel it instantly. You know exactly what you need to adjust. You gas out in a drill because your conditioning isn't sufficient. Your body tells you unequivocally, nope, got to improve this. You lose a simulated exchange because you missed a tactical opening. You learn the consequence directly. There's no hiding.
Exactly. It's a constant cycle, often humbling, yeah, but ultimately illuminating. Action, consequence, adjustment, repeat. This isn't just about moving your body. It's framed as profound resilience training. It teaches you to absorb impacts, physical, maybe even metaphorical, to persevere when exhausted, and to adapt when things go wrong. These are skills applicable far beyond a physical fight. They're skills for navigating any challenge life throws at you, learning from failure, and getting back up again.
So, contrasting this perspective with traditional sports training, it really does reveal some stark differences.
Exactly. Well, sports build incredible athleticism, agility, strategic thinking,
Mm.
but usually within their own rules, right? The direct carryover to surviving unpredictable physical danger is limited for most sports. Fighting training, however, is argued to apply directly. It's fundamentally about surviving danger.
And like we discussed, the confidence built is different, earned under that messy pressure of simulated conflict versus, often being tied to external validation, like winning a game or hitting a metric.
Totally. And there's the adaptability aspect, too. Many sports require specific facilities, a pool, a track, a court, a field, and often a whole team. But the core principles and many drills in fighting, well, they can often be practiced almost anywhere, solo or with just one partner. Makes it incredibly adaptable to different circumstances, different environments. It's training that isn't dependent on having the perfect setup.
Right. So pulling all these threads together, the central argument is that fighting is framed not merely as a physical activity or even just a sport, but as a fundamental form of preparation.
It really harks back to a more ancient understanding of human capability, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Physical readiness. Before the advent of specialized sports and fancy gyms and organized leagues as we know them, physical training was often intrinsically linked to protection, to self-sufficiency, to the ability to handle the raw, unpredictable chaos of life.
So in this light, fighting, or maybe just training for conflict, is seen as perhaps the original form of functional preparation. And it's argued to prepare you for more than just a physical threat, too.
Precisely. The intense discipline required, the self-control needed to function effectively under duress, the mental toughness forged by repeatedly putting yourself in uncomfortable, realistic scenarios, and the humility learned from that constant, honest feedback loop we talked about. These are presented as qualities that prepare you not just for self-defense, but for navigating difficult situations generally, facing fear, maintaining composure when things get tough in any area of life.
It definitely makes you seriously reevaluate your fitness goals and priorities. Are you training mainly to perform in a specific, controlled environment? Or are you training, at least in part, for the unpredictable reality of life itself?
And that leaves you, the listener, with a potent question to consider for yourself.
Yeah.
If you had to choose only one physical skill to become genuinely proficient in, just one, which one would make you feel safer walking alone at night? Which one would you rather possess if, say, the structures of the modern world suddenly became unreliable? It really pushes you to think about what functional fitness truly means in the deepest sense after considering this perspective. What's truly functional for you?